as Ken comes back.
Welcome everyone to Unity Church in Reading. And if you're able to and inclined to stand, we'll begin with our opening song, We Are All Friends Here. We are all friends here. There are no strangers once you walk inside that door. We welcome you to linger in this family of love and hold you in our hearts the way you are. We are all friends here. There are no strangers once you walk inside that door. We welcome you to linger in this family of love and hold you in our hearts the way you are. We are all friends here. There are no strangers once you walk inside that door. We welcome you to linger in this family of love and hold you in our hearts the way you are. And hold you in our hearts the way you are. We are blessed today. I think we have more kids than adults. We are all children in his eyes.
Say that again.
We are all children in his eyes.
You know we are. We are blessed. Anyway, so as we start our service, let's start with our opening song.
What? We did our opening song.
Oh, okay. That must be the reason. Okay, then we'll go right to our congregational blessing. Are we ready? We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. And you and you and you, and please have a seat. And now you get the official welcome. My name is Reverend Ken, and Nicole will be our platform for today, and we are blessed. And if you're comfortable with closing your eyes, please do so, and let's begin in prayer. Divine Spirit, as we close our eyes, we open our hearts and minds to receive the blessings of who we truly are, to hold the love and the peace, the love and joy that comes forth through us and is manifesting as us. we find ways to show your love to all those around us as we go through our day. We are blessed to be here for this divine appointment. And so it is. Amen. And now I would like to invite the younger guys forward. Come on down. And we have Sebastian, Bain, Kingston, and Blaze. No Blaze today? No Blaze today. So there would just be 3 of them. So who gets to start? Okay? You know how to do it. Give it to the next person. All right. Light the candle. Light the tall one. And blow out the little one. Ooh, and as we stand together, let us remember why we light this light. We light this candle to remind us that the light of Christ lives within each one of us. I am the light of Christ. And so it is. Thank you all for coming forward. What a blessing. What a blessing. And now we are going to ask Janice to come forward and align the inner heart chakra by ringing our bell. Thank you. And now for our gratitude and sharing.
Okay, who's going to get us started this morning? Gratitude, sharing. Anybody? Okay. Alexis, I can always count on you.
Okay. Mia, Karen, and Rich, and
Go ahead. Don't get distracted. Stay focused.
we're gonna 1st July is gonna be my birthday.
Thank you, Alexis. Who's next? Gratitude, sharing. Oh, over here.
I just want to thank, Source, universe, and nature for the love that we constantly and consistently receive, the abundance. And I just want to thank my family for being so amazing and loving. I just want to thank unity in this community. I appreciate each and every one of you. I just appreciate it. I just appreciate it a lot, and bringing forth that gratitude. So, thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Ruth?
I want to thank my ancestors, my grandparents. I knew all of them, and some of my great-grandparents. They always, in each of them in their own way, always talked about learning and always learning and always learning. And thank goodness they adopted that on me, and I can change my attitudes about generation behavior and the etiquettes, and I can change my mind about read that Bible again, and just like a deer with headlights, I go, I didn't know that was there. It's kind of fun. And I'm reading the Bible Now it's a different age in my life, and it's very exciting. And my grandfather always stayed on top of what was going on with Wall Street and all that. And he would use his brain to make things happen. But I'm really grateful because when I think of them, I think of how they were constantly changing their mind and constantly learning and constantly reaching out to the younger generations and finding them in the common place. It was wonderful.
I want to say I'm thankful for being back here with my Unity family. After a long vacation, I had a wonderful vacation with my kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids, but I'm exhausted. Chasing around little ones is an ordeal sometimes, but I'm glad to be back with Unity.
Okay, thank you. Ooh, Haley?
Hi. So I want to take a minute to be thankful for the idea of friends. Friends are my found family, and I had a really good day yesterday with one of my friends. She also has a lot of littles, and we set up her backyard and had a little pool party, and it was just really enjoyable to be able to let the kids kind of run wild and have a moment that felt, serene and tranquil. And it was just like, oh, this is nice. So, always nice to lean on your friends, and I'm grateful to have them.
Thank you.
Just want to keep in thought all of the firefighters that are out there fighting our closest fire, the green fire, but also the people who are behind the scenes, a lot of contractors that are out there helping to feed, operating bulldozers, all kinds of things that may not be officially with fire departments. But you can imagine, what it was like today to come here in smoke. Can you imagine what it's like for them out there in the heat, extreme temperatures and everything? So we just want to keep everyone in thought today.
Thank you. Oop, Ken is coming up.
I would like to give thanks for an opportunity that I had yesterday, and that was out with Roger's Memorial Life Service. And it was really interesting because, as you know, I get to see a mini capsule of each of you between about 10 o'clock and about noon. So often, if you wonder why I'm asking you questions or trying to get more information, it's to put you into perspective of who you are. And it was really interesting that yesterday we had maybe 100 of Roger's friends and relatives there. And I could just wander around and say, what do you remember about Roger? And to hear the concept, because one of the things that I talked to Roger about was his time in the Marines, because we shared service. And I met somebody that had actually come out from Ohio to be at the memorial. And he had been in the Marines and had served with Roger and had gone on leave and knew him as a young man. And that perspective of youth and of what young is. And then I got to talk to his sons and got to talk to his daughters and got to talk to friends. And it was just amazing to put together a kaleidoscope of what was Roger's life. So I thank the church for being the platform that allowed me to meet Roger, and all of Roger's family that was open to share his love.
Thank you. And so our musicians today are Nancy, Jacob, Haley, and myself. And now we are going to sing I've Got Peace Like a River. So if you'd like to stand, please do so.
Got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river in my soul.
Into the children's room? Okay. Let's sing them out.
In the light, in the light, in the light, I am walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God.
And now I could ask Al to come forward for our daily word. Big Al. The legend.
Oh, ye who are disbelievers, may faith come your way like a tsunami, and you be swept away with love and admiration. You know, one of the moment of gratitude does, if you listen carefully to what folks are saying from Adam and certainly Reverend Ken and Lex and all, that, you know, there's a lot of wisdom and just a lot of perspective on life and living in our moment of gratitude. And that's part of what, you know, I really appreciate about the Unity service is we have prayer, we have meditation, we have you all sharing the ways that you experience your lives that helps each of us better understand our lives. Today's word is one that causes all of us, I think, to really go deep. And when we go deep with our unity, you know, somehow you have to get F-A-I-T-H, faith, really dialed in to get into these concepts and believe them fully and live them fully. And certainly all of us in various ways have challenges that sometimes are very difficult to understand, very difficult to move on from, and it's really hard to really understand what it is. And so we hopefully can reach into our unity bag of learnings and pull out things that will get us through time for things that are very difficult. And so today's word is courage. Courage. And the affirmation I'll read first, and you can join with me. God within me is the source of my courage. Will you join with me, please? God within me is the source of my courage. Worrisome and challenging events may leave me thinking I don't have the courage to face them. What I'm going through may feel like too much to bear. Then I remind myself that as a divine being, I have all the courage I could ever need. How I view myself has a strong bearing on how I handle moments of stress. If I tell myself I'm weak or unable to cope, that will probably be my experience. But If I affirm that God within me is my power to rise above any worldly situation, I will feel courageous, empowered, and strong. Stressful moments may leave me feeling alone and afraid. With the presence and power of God within me, I realize I am never alone and need not fear. This is the source of my courage. Very, very powerful words, inspired by Joshua, the first chapter, the 9th verse. Strong and courageous. Do not be frightened or dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And now the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever.
Now it's that time in our service where we just take a few minutes just to relax, to let go, to connect to that higher self, that higher power within each and every one of us. As we take a few deep breaths in through your nose and just blow it out. Make some noise if you want to let it go, to release, to be still. And it's always to be still and know that God is always with you, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. That divine spirit is always going to be with us. So through that, we take this few minutes just to be still. So take another breath with me today, and let's just go within. and now, as we come back into this time and space, we come back filled with the light and love that is always there. As we take this time just to be still, that's able to bring it up so that we can shine it to each other. As we come here and now, running on empty after a busy week, we're able to connect again. Connect and have the courage to stand up. So we come back now to this community prayer where we bring each and every family, friend, new acquaintance into this space, into the love that we have for them. So if you'll join me by speaking their names aloud. And I bring our prayer box and all the names in the prayer box into the same space and time, knowing that whatever their needs are, God is there. Just ask and He will give it to you. Have that faith. Have the courage to even ask. Speak up. Talk to Him. For that love and light that He has within Him will permeate every cell of your body, giving thanks and gratitude. Let's confirm this by speaking our names aloud. Kathy. Through the power and that presence of that indwelling Christ Spirit, I say thank you, God, and so it is. Amen. And now we'll have a celebration song. Just stay seated and enjoy.
Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the world. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness
Have you ever felt like you were running on empty? You know, and before I start talking about what we all think about running on empty means, I want to rule out another group of people that also run on empty. Life on the edge without a safety net. I know growing up, driving a car, knowing that it ran on gas and that I was controlled by how much gas was in the car, on how long it would go, I ran out of gas 27 times. Wasn't because I didn't have the money to buy the gas. It was because filling up the car didn't mean anything. I could start it and run it. I'd run out of gas on the M20 outside of London. I've run out of gas in Greece. I've run out of gas in Italy. I've run out of gas outside in Colorado climbing the Great Divide. And when my wife joined me, it became an unacceptable behavior. It was like that freedom of running out of gas and being able to walk to a gas. Now, I walked to a lot of gas stations, but I've also coasted into a lot of gas stations. That there was a gas station there, just right around the corner, waiting for me. People often live that way. Now, you might ask, well, how did my wife survive this? We made a rule in our family. She controls filling up the gas tank. At any time at all, she can say, Ken, fill up the gas tank. And I have to do so within the next 2 hours. It can be full. And if she says, fill up the gas tank, I pull into a station and get gas. That was our agreement. We know that the people who have lived on this edge of life, that are always just walking on that edge of they'll live forever. That there are no dimensions. We see it a lot in kids that don't know their own vulnerabilities. They rely on us to protect them. And I'm sure that's the way these people also live, is they rely on others. I know I certainly did. I relied on something taking care of me out in the middle of nowhere. My first wife never found a checkbook that wasn't full. She could write a check for anything. It didn't make any difference what was in the account. That was immaterial. She lived on that edge of spending and spending and spending. We know that this group of people are outside of our norm of what we call running on empty. Because when we talk about running on empty, we're normally talking, well, I guess I need to tell you a story about this running on empty. A person came to the door about 3 o'clock in the morning and banged on the door. Bang, 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 bang. And the old guy that was sleeping with his wife kind of said, what's going on? Dear, there's somebody downstairs knocking on the door. So he very begrudgingly got up, went downstairs, opened the door. And the guy was kind of bedraggled. Maybe he'd been out drinking. It was about 3 o'clock. And he said, I need a push. And the guy says, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Go take care of it on your own. Closed the door. Walked back upstairs. Crawled back in bed with his wife. And she says, dear, what did he want? And he said, he wanted a push. And she says, well, aren't you going to go out and help him? Remember when you ran out of gas and you needed somebody to push you to the gas station? That's probably what he needs. So why don't you go help him? He thought about it, grumble, grumble. And sure enough, we all want to help other people, don't we? That's who we are. So he got dressed, Went outside. Guy was not there. Hey, guy. Hey, mister. I'm here to give you a push. And he hears in the darkness, I'm over here. He says, well, what are you doing? I'm sitting on your swing. Often there's a communication gap with what they want and what we think they're asking for. And we go through life judging people, judging those asks for help that may really not be an ask for help, depending on the type of person that you're dealing with. You have to know the background of that person. We know that we often, the other half, us, your heart is weary and your soul is exhausted and you wonder how you're going to keep going, especially in this fast-paced world. You just run out of gas. You get tired from overdoing. Oh, sometimes it's a lack of sleep. You ever pushed yourself so hard that you were just running on empty, lack of sleep? Yeah. You get tired. I just can't take another step. Sometimes it's poor health. Sometimes we just get to the point where our body says, up. You know, talking to Diana just a few weeks ago when she was going through her phase of being tired. It was the way that her body was treating the condition she had. You know, the demands of work often cause us to become tired. How about family? Oh, yeah, that's a great consumption of energy. What about the endless responsibilities sometimes we take on? Those also can drain us dry. And at times we need to put our life into perspective. We need to look at our lives and find ways of self-care. How can we treat ourselves? An example was working out our problems. You know, you heard how my wife and I worked out one of our major problems. And it was a major problem. So we have to work out those problems. Sometimes we have to back off in what we're doing. You ever practice using that word no? Sometimes it's just a little more no in our lives. K-N-O-W type of no. Yep. And if we have health issues, what do we need to do? We need to find ways to be healed. Or find ways to live with a new reality. I had a friend growing up that lived across the street from me, and he used to do diving in creeks and rivers, and one day he broke his neck. Healthy as can be, no longer could walk. Think about the change in his life condition. Having to live in a totally different situation. How he accepted it. And he did very well. But it was a change of consciousness. From being able to live forever to being able to live with restrictions. Life was just as good, but life was different. So we can talk about those physical things that make us tired and running on empty. But what about running on empty in a religious perspective? How can our faith help us refuel and renew our spirits? Well, before we can explore solutions, we have to acknowledge and accept the reality of emptiness. Sometimes we just plain ask God why, because we don't understand. We don't know why something happened or something changed. You know, even those that seem strong or deeply spiritual are not immune to asking those questions. Why? Why? You know, when we look into the Bible, we see that even there were instances of countless stories of people running on empty. One of my favorite is Elijah falling asleep under the broom tree. And most of you say, what was that story about? He was escaping Jezebel. And he was running, and he fell asleep under the broom tree. And the angels woke him and fed him and got him on his way. David crying out in the Psalms. Even Jesus withdrawing into the wilderness to be alone, to refuel, to talk with the Father, and remember what was his to do next. Running on empty is not a sign of failure or faithlessness. It is a part of the human condition of who we are. And if we recognize this truth, it's our first step in healing, to becoming who we truly are. Pretending we're full when we're not, when we're really empty, only deepens that weakness, that lack, that feeling of being alone. And often the emptiness goes deeper, touching the core of our being, our souls. We may be weighed down with grief. I know most of you have followed the story of my daughter that lost her son on the 22nd of December of last year. She's still finding ways on Facebook to show her grief. And that'll continue forever. Because you just can't replace a loss. Yesterday, at the memorial, the idea of how much Roger touched so many lives. One thing I didn't know is that he was a hugger. And I remember the first time he showed up at church, we shook hands. Second time he showed up at church, we shook hands. The third time he showed up at church, we hugged. He gave that feeling of togetherness. You know, sometimes we carry a burden of fear. When we just don't know how we should be feeling. Or sometimes a feel that we've been wronged. Oh, those are great. When we feel we've been wronged, often we can really take it to the mat. And we can carry that pain in our hearts. It's tough to give a gift of forgiveness, because that's what we're giving. When we forgive, we're giving a gift. A gift of something we no longer need to hold on to. We often forget that forgiveness is that gift that we give others. And it's a blessing to ourselves for a burden that we need not carry. Well, what gets us there in our spiritual nature? Sometimes we're striving for approval. Anybody here ever looking for approval in other people's eyes? Yeah, we all get caught up in that. I mean, my wife stands in front of the mirror and preens. And I say, now, why are we doing this again? Well, I want to make sure my clothing matches. I throw on my clothes and have to make sure my zipper's up. You know, I don't have to do much. Do I care the colors match? No, I really don't. Should I? Yeah. You know, it took me years and years of wearing long pants before Kay finally said, okay, you can wear shorts. Oh, I thought it happened. For me, it did. How about chasing achievements? Do we know people who chase achievements and it gets in the way of their lives? They want to be number one. They want to win the game. They want to get in the last word. They want to be president. I remember one of the hardest things in my life was when my wife told me, Ken, I don't care where you're going for these job interviews. And I was at the point in my career at the IRS that the national office back in Washington, D.C. was sending me back for interviews. So we were looking at maybe moving from California to some other site. And my wife looked at me, she says, you know, I don't want to go. And it was immediately I had to make a decision. Which was more important? My wife of, I don't know, it was 25 years, 30 years at the time, or a job? Money? Money? Thank you. Yeah, that was what I chose. I gave up the idea of advancement and said, okay, I'll stay in this little district with only 3,000 employees, and I'll get as high as I can. I made that choice. Traveling after achievement. How about trying to control outcomes which are not ours to control? Oh, my first wife. I loved her to death. Well, not to death. I loved her, and I loved her, and I loved her. And she said, hey, hit the highway. And there's nothing I could do. I got down on my knees and begged for her not to leave. And she still left. I called her parents. Couldn't you talk to her? No. You're on your own. How could that happen? I loved her so much. I'd loved her for the first 15 years of my life. And she had other things she wanted to do. My little blue sports car. See, most of you don't remember my 1999 BMW Z3, the last of my stick shifts that I drove up here from Southern California, the love of my life. I had to find it a new home. I had to find it a new home. Now, I did find it a new home over on the coast. If I couldn't go to the coast, at least my car could. Sure enough. Often, not having the things that we want is difficult. The things we've grown used to. And people often are critical. But the thing we often don't know of is those things that we want to control and we can't is one of the hardest things to give up. I remember teaching a class for the IRS in management, and I said, for those tough decisions that you're going to make as managers, get out a piece of paper, draw a line down it, and ask yourself a question. Do you have control over the outcome? And if you don't, stop worrying about it, because you don't have control over it. Some things you can add to. Haley, we could talk about feeding those kids good food, can't we? You can make it available, but do you try to feed them? Now, it works up until they're about, what, 2? Yeah. After that? Then you have to make a game out of it or something to make them want to eat that apple or orange or strawberry. There you go. Possession, 9/10 of the law. To think about who has control over them. Now, if it's physical and the other person has control of it, we could say, well, we hope they decide the way I want. And sometimes we'll badger them. Sometimes we'll hold power over them to get them to do our things the way we want. But not very useful, not very helpful. Normally runs afoul of a relationship. But often we try to control the things that only God has control over. One of my favorites is, how long am I going to live? Well, I wrote it down in the book. I got an agreement. 99, 6 months, 3 days, 5 hours. Who's laughing? God's laughing, because I don't have control over that. The things that God has control over, that we want control over, give us the power. And God just laughs. We make plans for our lives. We're responsible for making the best choices that we can make. And then we have to get out of the way to make the best decisions for who we are, hold our hand for others, and give them a push. Being there to help others. That's why we're here. It's called love. We are the vessel of love. We are it. And if we can't, often we get backed up. And our lives don't flow very well. So if we can let go and let God, our path is much easier. And we're never running on empty. So as you go forward this week, think about the times and the decisions you're making, and if they're God's decisions or they're your decisions. If they're your decisions, make them the best that you can make. If they're God's decisions, hold those in divine light. Know they're going to be for the highest and best outcome. And so it is. Amen. God bless.
Okay, today is week 2, so we're going to look at our mission statement. I don't know what we did here. Unity Church in Reading is a radiating center of God's unconditional love, embracing healing, spiritual transformation, and service. If you join me in putting your offering into your hands. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Abundance. Now we're going to sing another song.
Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and the door shall be opened. Ask, and it shall be given, and the love come a-trickling down.
Oh yes, the Lord is present. Oh yes, the Lord is present. Oh yes, the Lord is present.
And the love come a-trickling down. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and the door shall be opened. Ask, and it shall be given, and the love come a-trickling down.
Oh yes, the Lord is speaking. Oh yes, the Lord is speaking. Oh yes, the Lord is speaking.
And the love come a-trickling down. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and the door shall be opened. Ask, and it shall be given, and the love come a-trickling down. the love come a-trickling down. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and the door shall be opened. Ask, and it shall be given, and the love come a-trickling down. I see the Christ within you. I see the Christ within you. I see the Christ within you, and the love come a-trickling down. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and the door shall be opened. Ask, and it shall be given, and the love come a-trickling down. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and the door shall be opened. Ask, and it shall be given, and the love come a-trickling down. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and the door shall be opened. Ask, and it shall be given, and the love come a-trickling down. And the love come a-trickling down. And the love come a-trickling down.
Blessing. Oh, Divine Spirit, we give thanks for this surplus of love flowing forward today. For we are blessed with the time, the talents, and the treasure that is donated to Unity Church in Reading. We are blessed to move this out into the community to find love, repairing lives, love, and holding the spirit of love. And we are blessed. So in the name and in the living life of our Christ Jesus, we say thank you, God. And so it is.
Okay, so announcement time. First, we want to acknowledge and thank our ushers, Jerry, Janice, Jack on the soundboard, Stefan for the flowers. Thank you very much. This week, the church office will be open Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Remember, there's meditation at noon. You can drop in or call in if you don't want to come out in the heat. Do it from your home. If you'd like prayer after service, you can see Reverend Ken, Kathy, or Diana. Remember, on Sundays, there's prayer circle at 9:30 a.m. facilitated by Diana. This Tuesday, we will have Reiki from 4 to 5:30. And we're having our women's retreat next Saturday on the 19th. So the sign-up sheet and flyers are in the Friendship Hall. It's going to be a great event, so all the women come on. On August 3rd, there is a membership class after service. And remember, we're having our back-to-school drive for Western service workers. They need school supplies. There's a collection bin out in the lobby, and you can also make a monetary donation and just earmark it for the back-to-school drive. Very nice. It's graduation. That's awesome. So our next kirtan is going to be August 17th. So come and participate. That will be at noon after service. There's Thursday at 10 a.m. We have A Course in Miracles. And Thursday at 1 p.m. we have the Circle of Love Book Club. Always, we thank those who are bringing the snacks for fellowship. And you can sign up in the kitchen if you'd like to do that. And we're still also looking for a Sunday host. So if you're interested, let somebody know. Kathy, no. Give it to Kathy. And remember to check the bulletin board for the 12-step program meeting times. We look forward to seeing you next Sunday here or on our website or on Facebook. And now we will do our peace song.
protection, our call and response. The light of God surrounds us.
I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
I am the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
I am the power of God.
The presence of God watches over us.
I am the presence of God.
And together,
Wherever
we are, God is. And so it is. God bless and thank you for being here, and go forth with that feeling of spirit.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little